So about 3 weeks ago, Nintendo had their Switch 2 Direct, and it showcased Mario Kart World and all the brand new games coming to Switch, most notably a bunch of third-party games, and even a FromSoft exclusive that is coming out next year. It was absolutely insane, but people were concerned when Nintendo never revealed a price, and it put them in a whole bunch of hot water. And it turned out because the prices were increased just a little bit, it didn't matter to me because I was going to buy it no matter what, because I love the Switch and I love what Nintendo has to offer. And people were complaining that when Mario Kart World was $80, they thought it was the end of the world. They started going with a narrative of boycott Nintendo, we're done with Nintendo, we don't want anything to do with them. And I was kind of curious because it was picking up a whole bunch of steam on the internet. Nintendo was really in a rough spot there for a couple weeks, but now the pre-orders hit and it is nothing like that. Fans are still going out and purchasing the Switch 2, including myself, and it is now crashing websites. I tried the order from GameStop at first, but then GameStop's site was down, so then I tried Walmart and it worked that way. So it seems like Walmart is the way to go to get your Switch 2 pre-order in. But Switch 2 pre-orders are hitting historic levels. A leading French retailer has revealed that the Nintendo Switch 2 console and accessory sales have already been selling incredibly well, hitting historic levels. Many have worried that the introduction of the United States tariffs and impacts on global markets would negatively impact upcoming video game releases and console sales, but it seems the Nintendo Switch 2 is managing to find early success, at least in France, and it is pretty much like that in the United States as well. While there has been backlash to the Nintendo Switch 2 game pricing model, it would seem that audiences are still excited locking in their pre-orders for the console. And since the Switch 2 is such a success, it has people really questioning on who was in charge of the Nintendo riot on the internet. And it seems like it was a bunch of non-Nintendo fans. This is from D-Day Covert, seeing a lot of this right now. As I speculated, I figured it was a lot of non-Nintendo fans complaining about the Switch 2. Yogensha, I think that's how you pronounce it. Love how the boycott Nintendo mindset after the Switch 2 reveal immediately disappeared once pre-orders opened up. All I see now is people grabbing it, even some camping at GameStop to get one. This is just absolutely insane, and the Switch 2 is going to sell like hotcakes, and it's going to sell so well that it's probably going to beat the PS5 for pre-orders, which is absolutely insane because the PS5 seemed like it was impossible to find and they couldn't make enough of them. Granted, it was during COVID, but now the Nintendo Switch is doing that, but even more. It is projected to outsell the PS5 at launch, which is absolutely insane. Even facing criticism, the Switch 2 price may be low enough to set console sales records. Analysts in a Bloomberg report predicted that the handheld will sell more in its first 2 weeks than the PS4 or PS5. Could supply threaten that record as Nintendo struggles to meet Switch 2 pre-order demand? The PS5 sold between 2.1 and 2.5 million systems during its first 2 weeks, selling 2.1 million consoles in the same period. The PS4 had similar results. The Nintendo Switch 2 could easily eclipse both, provided that Nintendo meets the demand. And if Nintendo meets the demand, it is going to be an awesome 2 weeks for the Switch and Nintendo because it is going to sell incredibly well. And now that the Switch 2 is all caught up to date with today's technology, it is dangerous that Nintendo is in this field as well with Sony and Xbox because Nintendo does it better in my opinion. The Switch 2 pre-orders are booming and that Nintendo backlash was all for nothing. But anyway, that's all for me. If you liked the video, hit the like button, comment your guys' thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.